Contact events American 2456 requesting IFR to Miami International. We have information Lima.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator stream. We are going to be using the beautiful Phoenix A319 and we're using Onair. And as you hear in the background, we're using Sayintentions. And this flight, actually I just booked just before this the stream started here, is an Onair flight. And I'll bring that up on the screen here. So here's Onair. If you've never used Onair, I highly recommend it. It is a really, really cool career mode piece of software. Welcome in, Typical Dutch. It is fantastic. It's so I've used APL in the past. I also used NeoFly way past. And APL kept me very occupied. I loved the airline approach with APL. It's very simple, yet satisfying as you continue to progress and unlock new aircrafts, new licenses, right? Really cool. But once you get all the license you want and have flown for most of the airlines or all the airlines you like, it kind of starts to get a little bit repetitive. You're in and out of the same airports, you're flying the same planes, that kind of jazz, right? With Onair, you can do airliners, you can do GA. Now, of course, you can do GA with APL as well, but I feel it's built more towards airliners, which is what I always fly for the most part, 95% of the time nowadays. But Onair gives you a little bit more flexibility because you can choose any of the available jobs with any aircraft you have. If you don't have an aircraft, you can rent an aircraft. If you don't have enough money to buy a rent or buy an aircraft, you can join a virtual airline and fly one of their aircrafts. All kinds of options, all kinds of different airports. The world is much more open, I feel. You don't have to do the same airline flights, right? So I've been doing a lot of the freelance airline stuff, so flying for American, JetBlue, etc. And I recently started getting into the actual career part of it, I suppose you can say, your actual airline career part. And so I've been doing a few flights with that, and that's really cool. And that's what this is here. So, like I said, we're going. Well, I haven't said where we're going and where we are. I don't think we are in Tampa, Florida. And we're going to Birmingham, Alabama. And so this is interesting. So yesterday, I did a virtual airline flight. Okay, so I'm with the Flyintentions, which is the Sayintentions VA within Onair. And so I picked up a Flyintentions flight, and that flight was from Memphis to it was like New Orleans or something like that. And it was a time-sensitive one, so it unlocked at a certain time, and you only had an X amount of time to get it done. And it paid a lot of money to the VA, which is really, really cool. But in between that, I had, because I was doing other flights with Onair, I had to relocate my airline, relocate myself, so that I could get to Memphis, where the flight took off from, where the flight was scheduled to take off from, in time so I could actually do the flight. So it's really, really cool to have those kind of things within Onair. But we are here in Tampa, we're going to Birmingham, and so with Onair here, depending on the type of flying you're doing, you may have to get a co-pilot, you may have to get a flight attendant. In this case, we do need a flight attendant. We don't need a co-pilot, apparently, which is weird. But we're going to get one anyway, so we're going to go to Hire. And within here, you can sort however you like. I just go for the cheapest, you know. Who needs an expensive person? So we're going to go ahead and choose this person here for our cabin crew. And I've been just doing freelance right now. I haven't actually signed anyone on board. So now we have our co-pilot. And we're going to bring Max with us as well. I guess we can't. Or why? I'm not sure why Max isn't showing up on there. And then I do want to get a co-pilot though. So we'll sort this and we will get a co-pilot. So here's like mechanics you have to get eventually when your aircraft needs some maintenance. I should probably just like hire someone soon. But for this flight, we're gonna do just freelance stuff. So we have our co-pilot, we have our cabin crew. Now we're gonna import from SimBrief. We're gonna validate the fuel. If this is something that I had for the first time, if for some reason it comes up saying that the FBO you're at doesn't have the fuel, you can check this little box here and see if there's another airport near you that you can get the fuel from. And it solved both of the problems I had recently. So then we can click fly now. Bring that to the background. And that's where that sits. Okay, so now in this beautiful Phoenix A319, we are going to do a PDC clearance with Sayintentions, which is really, really cool. Like, it's wild to think that this is a thing now, because I was excited to use Sayintentions because you can speak to tower, right? You can speak to ATC. But PDC, you don't. It's like a text-based thing. And it's really, really cool. And I haven't used the whole, what's the full acronym for the full thing? CDPDLC. I haven't used that whole thing yet. I've just used the clearance part. But it does support it all now, which is really, really cool. There's some hiccups here and there from my understanding, but it's really, really neat. So we will use that for this departure here. So we'll go over to the little tablet here, click on the little Phoenix, import our flights. And let's balance our stuff here. So load our aircraft, that should all be good. Instant this stuff. All looks grand. And then I like to go ahead and get our flex right away. All right, flex is gonna be 80 today. And battery 1, battery 2, external power. And we'll get our pumps going. Alright, then we'll get the APU rolling. Okay. And now, we're going to click on this little button here. We also got to get our, whatever this is called here. I keep forgetting what that's called. But on the Phoenix, we're going to over here to the Phoenix menu, the sim settings, DCD. We're going to click that, and I'm going to save it. And I'm going to click save twice, because sometimes it just doesn't save it for some reason. Okay, that brought up a screen here for us. That's very, very important. We're going to click on the OC. We're going to initiate our flight. So we'll gather that information. That will populate with some information. There it goes. Then we're going to go over to our actual initiating our flight details. So we're going to request our flight. We'll put in our call sign. Bam. Okay, so that's all we need to do for this very moment. We're going to go back over onto the screen. We're going to request ATC, pre-departure clearance, and we're going to fill in the blanks here. So we are, let's see, what was the gate here? 10. So gate 10. We're departing from Tampa. And now we got to get ATIS, the old-fashioned way here in Sayintentions. So we'll tune over to ATIS and grab the
EET
information.
Temperature 29er, dew point 24, altimeter 29er. Arriving and departing runways 1 left, 19er left, 2A. Visual approaches in use. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway and hold short instructions. VFR departures contact clearance delivery on 133.6. Advise on initial contact you have information Quebec.
Quebec is our
Tampa International
information, so
Airport.
Q.
Information Quebec.
And then we're going to hit send.
1353 Zulu.
Bam.
Wind 150.
And that's going to be sending over the information to
Visibility
tower.
10. Sky conditions.
To clearance, and then we should be able to get a clearance from them. In the meantime, we'll put in the rest of our information here.
Temperature
We'll switch on over to the ground frequency.
2.24. Altimeter 29er.
And cruising altitude is 360, and our flex is 80. Alright, so now go back over here. We're going to send this to the McDo and send this to the McDo.
Request taxi to rapid runway, please.
Okay, we're going to verify fuel is in there. Performance is also set in. Beautiful, all grand. Flight plan, we're expecting runway 19 left for departure. And the end to the lace. There's no via.
American 123, runway 19er right taxi via Victor 8. Contact tower.
All right, so we have some information here.
Ready for departure.
Ooh, I put in the wrong. Did I put in the wrong departure? Did I put in Tampa or did I put in Burlington? I'm pretty sure I put Tampa. I should find. Yeah, N2, okay. Oh, clear 2, okay. I'm reading this all goofy. Alright, so we have, we're clear to Birmingham, the N2 departure. The maintain flight level 220, our initial climb. Our departure frequency is 126.45, we got that in there, and our squawk is 2334. Keep in mind that if you are using the PDC here, you do have to put in the squawk. It doesn't auto fill in the squawk for you like when you talk to clearance itself. We'll go to page 2. We're expecting runway 19 left, and we do have our squawk in there. So now we're going to tell it to Wilco that we understand it, and we're going to send that information off. So you heard the audios, right? The boop, 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 boop. This little light here flashes blue. I think it's this one. Flashes blue when you get a call for the PDLC. Or sorry, for the PDC. Okay, so we now have clearance. So we don't have to talk to clearance whatsoever. Why is it keep doing that? We don't have to talk to clearance whatsoever. We are golden. We have our initial climb, flight level 220. We have our departure frequency set on COM2 standby. And we have our squawk going. So now all we have to do is talk to ground. Get our pushback. So we're going to get our IRSs aligned here.
Skyhawk 23788 Tampa ground taxi to runway 10 via Echo.
Okie dokie. And we'll get a pushback set up as well for 19 left. And I'm expecting to push back this direction here. So you see the little blinking light there? So login required. I'm not sure what that means. Whenever you have a message that blinks blue there, we'll close that. Alright. And at this point, we are ready to get clearance. So let's go ahead and get our APU bleed set. Turn that off. Turn off these guys. Close our door. And now we'll wait for our moment to talk to ground here. Tampa ground, hello from American 516. We are at gate 10, requesting pushback and engine start. Gonna clear out our company messages. You'll see a new one in there that you normally don't see. That's this here. So request was sent off, and it was telling us to stand by. Alright, pushback has been approved. 19er left for departure. Want to make sure no one's behind us. All looking grand. These to park and brake, pushed back, and let's get our engine started up. It's so wild to think. I've had so much fun in the 319. So much fun, and I really can't explain why, because it's essentially the A320, right? But I also had so much fun in the A320. But I feel like I'm having more fun with the 319, and I don't know why. I don't know why. So there's a couple few things we'll talk about in air. Some pretty big news from Sayintentions, some updates for some planes, and I think that's about the main things. Oh, I forgot to start tracker for Onair. I think it's about the only things I can think of this moment.
Your flight will be monitored until you land.
So I got lost 3 points. All right, engine 1's up. Engine 2 coming up next. And we are flaps 2 departure. I've been getting flaps 1 mostly. Tampa ground, American 516, request taxi clearance.
American Airlines Flight 516, departing from Tampa and heading to Birmingham. My name is Lisa, and I'll be your lead flight attendant today.
American 516, taxi to runway 19er left by Golf 3, Charlie 7.
Joining me in the cabin are...
Runway 19er left via Golf 3, Charlie 7, American 516.
Pushback, please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened.
Golf
Ensure that all
3,
electronic devices are turned off or set to airplane mode.
Charlie.
We kindly ask
Beautiful.
that you follow the instructions
Golf
of the
3
cabin
is up
crew
here.
at all times.
Swap over
For your
there, head
safety,
all the way
this
down
aircraft is
to
equipped
Charlie
with
7.
8 emergency exits, clearly
Alright,
marked
engine
throughout the
number
cabin.
2 is
In
golden,
the event
taxi
of an
lights are
emergency,
on.
Please remember that smoking or vaping is
Leads
not
are
allowed
off.
at any time. We are happy to have you
Flaps
as
are
our guest
coming
today,
down.
and we appreciate your cooperation. Thank you for choosing to fly with us.
We're rolling out. Let's config test. All grand. All's good.
Cessna N421AW, Tampa ground, taxi to runway 28 via
Alright,
Romeo
here's Golf
Sierra.
3.
Contact tower on 119.5 when ready for departure. Romeo in Sierra. 421 Alpha.
I need to check my rudder.
Lufthansa 215, read back, correct.
Didn't seem to like that right turn.
Request engine start, please.
Let's see if we can find a control test real quick.
Tower on
Let's see, EQ bleed pressure. Which one is... Not that one.
Roger, engine start approved.
Not that one.
Wilco, Meridian 277.
What's the thing? Hold on, let's taxi. Oh, maybe it is working. Just seemed a little off there.
Heathrow ground.
I don't think it is. I think something's funky.
Ready for test.
It's happened once with my my Turtle Beach. Once it like, for some reason it needed to be unplugged and replugged in.
Contact tower on 118.1.
Oh, what the
Safe
hell?
flight.
Is this a big dip here? Oh no, okay. Definitely a drop off. I don't know if that's there in real life or not. Alright, we're gonna hold short here.
Tomjet 6
4 Tango, ready for taxi.
And then I'm going to test the controls because something definitely seems off. Park and brake is set. Flight controls, there we go. Okay, rudder. Yeah, see? I'm all the way to the right. So real quick, let me test something.
Taxi to runway 24 by Juliet Alpha, tower on 118.2, when ready for departure. Tom Jet 64 Tango.
American 705 ready for taxi.
Okay, there we go. Just a simple unplug and plug back in. Seemed to fix it. I'm not sure why it does that. So weird. And it's kind of random too. Alright, tower 119.5 and departure frequency 126.
Say again your last transmission, please.
Is it 45? Yep. Spoilers. We gotta rearm our spoilers. Retest our config. Okay. I think we're good now. Tampa Tower, American 516, holding short, runway 19 left, ready for departure.
American 516, Tampa Tower, runway 19 left, winds 150 at 5, cleared for takeoff.
Tampa's pretty empty right now. Runway 19 left, cleared for takeoff, American 516. Alright. Park and brake released. That's boogie. Landing lights are on. Right, here we go. Has it already been 20 minutes for this stream? Holy smokes.
Bonanza 1, Alpha Whiskey, Tampa Tower, straight in approach approved for runway 28, report 3 mile final.
Alright, E1 and rotating.
3 mile final for 28.
Positive rate climb, gear going up.
Winds 289er at 17, altimeter 29er74.
Got a slight wind, crosswind here.
After departure, fly runway heading, maintain VFR at or below 4,500, departure 125.3, squawk 4525 and IDEN.
Altimeter 2.
I'm gonna maintain runway heading here because we have to swing back up north.
Fly runway heading, maintain VFR or at below 4,500. Departure on 25.3.
Climb buffer.
4525.
American 516, contact departure.
Delivery on 133.6. Advise on initial
Well, that's
contact.
interesting.
You have information, Quebec.
My departure frequency did change. Departure American 516, passing 2,700, climbing flight level 220.
American 516, Tampa approach, radar contact, clear, direct, ended.
Alright, direct ended, AP is on, and we'll go direct to ended. Alright, gonna go. Normal for that. Spoilers are away. And on our way to Birmingham. I wonder what, let me see. Okay, I can't view it anymore. I want to know what the departure frequency it gave me. If that was right or not. I have in my COM2 12645. That's ATIS. And I know there was an issue before with EDC I received in the past. Power D, yeah. Oh, it's always fun, like, looking at people's usernames.
American 516 Tampa approach, climb and maintain flight level 240.
Climb and maintain flight level 240, American 516. Okay, so we're almost at 10,000.
For Victor Juliet, climb and maintain flight level 260.
Alright, here we are, cruise, lights off, and the next thing pretty much is
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to
flight level
offer
180.
now
We'll go to standard pressure, and then we'll just do our climb up to, what are we going up to?
our onboard
Flight level
Wi-Fi
360.
now available. We will be starting our drinks and snacks shortly. And items from the American Airlines shop will also be available for purchase. For your safety, please keep your seatbelts fastened at all times, even if the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign.
4 altitude 4,000 feet.
Topjet 064 Tango, Rodos approach.
Alright, so in the
radar,
news
double
of
check
Flight
3253,
Simulator,
ident again.
in terms of aircrafts, I have the 727
2024 Tampa approach.
has had a couple
Good
updates
evening,
recently.
altimeter 299er7.
I did a flight, and all went extremely well. Very, very well. It's a fun plane. It's a lot of fun. It's really fun, hands-on. I didn't have the AP, but well, actually,
Side 2024 is going missed.
I did have the AP bug
2024. Roger,
again.
missed
I
approach
had that again,
procedure as published.
where
Climb and maintain
it just kind of went all
3000
willy-nilly on its own.
275. Advise when you wish to
I was
try
able
the
to
approach
disable
again,
it
or if you need further
and take
assistance.
control. The same with this aircraft, actually.
Climb and maintain flight level 300.
Climb and maintain flight level 300, American 516. Actually yesterday, so last night with this plane, I think it was the flight I was doing from Memphis to New Orleans. It was just before capturing the approach. All the instruments was showing bonkers.
American 2450 contact Salt Lake Tower
But I was able to disable AP and control the plane. I was trying to see if it was the plane just being funky, was the instruments being funky, and everything was normal, or was things going wrong, and things were going wrong. So what ended up happening was the airspeed dropped. I was at 250, and it just tanked down to like 160. And I verified within Onair to see if the indicated speed was the same, and it was. Then I also looked at my Navigraph, which has the airspeed on there as well, and it was the same. And I checked the altitude, and that happened too. So the instruments went bugged, what I was seeing on the instruments was somewhat similar to what was actually happening to the aircraft itself, based on the information. Now, it could be that the information it's sending is false, right? So whatever information, however Navigraph and Onair grabbed that information, it could be false. But it definitely felt like it was slow. And the engines were at idle. And it should have been not at idle. I should not have been idle, because I think at that point I was maintaining my flight level. I can't remember. But similar to that issue is what happens with the 727. So I wonder, it's got to be something in the coding on Microsoft's end, if it's affecting both planes. Maybe it's the WASM? They had an update to that with the last system update, I believe. And I think they've reverted back with the Xbox version because there were some issues, so maybe there's some known issue with that. Climbing up to flight level 360, American 516. So either way, so I was having that issue with the 727. That's the only issue I've had with the Phoenix for the most part. I did have one issue where the instruments went all crazy on the ground and things were super sluggish. So I'd go down here and I'd click a button, but it would take substantially longer for it to actually change the next screen.
Contact Jacksonville Center on 125.175.
Jacksonville Center, American 516. We're at flight level 204, climbing 360. But nevertheless, the 727, very, very fun.
American 516, Jacksonville Center.
And of course, I've already said this with the A319, very fun. I've not touched the 321 yet. The 319, I haven't even touched the 320 since the 319 came out. And yesterday, finally, after long-awaited delays, the PC-12 had an update, and it was a pretty big update. Quite a few things going on. The SWS PC-12, which when it was released was really, really good. Had some issues here and there. They did patch some of those issues with hotfixes, and they did have a big, somewhat of a big patch that came out a month or so after the release of it. That fixed a couple other bugs that were going on, but it was still very flyable and a lot of fun. This update seems to fix the plane. I shouldn't say fix. Definitely seemed to adjust the plane even further. I did one test flight last night when the update came out. So the update came out at about 6:30 Central Time. So I tested about an hour after that, maybe about 2 hours after that, and wow, it was impressive. So if you've ever flown this the SWS PC-12, some people complain that the yaw damper, once you disable it, the plane will slowly start to get off course. And SWS and PC-12 pilots say, well, that's realistic, that you have to use your rudder, you have to calibrate your trim to make it work better, or, make it fly on the path you want. But they seem to adjust that, so it's not as aggressive. It's still there, but not as aggressive. And the one flight I did last night, I didn't have to do anything to the trim, and I was on path. I as soon as I hit the auto marker, I disabled AP. I disabled the no, I didn't have AP on at all. It's just a short little 25 nautical mile flight in California. But I had the yaw damper on, disabled that, and there was no swaying of the plane. It was on path the whole entire final. So really, really happy with that. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So I'm happy with that. I think the PMS issue is still there, but I think it's a PMS issue where the performance tanks. And I do notice that with the 727 as well, which I have the PMS on as well. So I should probably test to see if the PMS is just having some issues with performance. Those are 2 planes I fly with that I would need. I can't think of anything else I fly with the PMS right now, other than those 2 planes.
Archer 0 Foxtrot Mike, read back correct.
But the update really cool. The ground handling has been improved quite a bit. I feel like I can control it a lot better on the ground. There apparently is a button you can push within the plane to enable, I think it's called CWS, Charlie Wilco Sierra, that allows nose steering. I haven't been able to find that button, and I didn't find it in the manual. So I'll have to do some research on that to see if that even further improves the ground handling. But yeah, I was very impressed with the update. Very impressed with the update. And you see, there's one thing that I think simmers, gamers, right, is we don't always appreciate what the developers have done. You know, some developers out there, whether it's flight sim stuff or another game or whatever it be, they just push out a game and that's the end of it. They might throw out a minor little patch here and there, but that's the end. That's the game. Deal with it. What I really like about most of the flight sim community, in terms of developers, is they will actually fix and patch things. Sometimes it takes a little longer. These are small teams, right? All these developers are indie, per se, right? They're very small teams. Most of this is not their jobs. Very few exceptions to that. Most of the developers, this is not their primary source of income. This is a secondary income. And I think we take that for granted sometimes as simmers. You know, I'm speaking on behalf of Flight Sim right now, primarily, but I do feel that we take that for granted. If you go into, like, okay, I was in the SWS Discord this weekend and just kind of reading, checking up on things, and so many people were like, where's the patch, where's the patch, where's the patch? Technically, they did announce it for last Monday. They found an issue, so they pulled back the patch until, they didn't release it, but they pulled back announcing it for the Monday, and said that it would be released as soon as the update's ready. But there was no information from them for about 24 hours, right? And then finally they said, you know, hey, sorry about that, we found an issue, our hours are different from one another, so it's hard for the communication process, and we'll get it out when we get it out. That's fine, right? Perfectly fine. But people in the Discord were yelling, I want the patch, I want this, I want that. The plane is flyable. The plane is flyable. It's not a broken aircraft. You know, it's been the same update for months now, and it's fully flyable. There's very little issues with it. And people were just harping so much on them, right? And it's just crazy to think that. Now, if the plane wasn't flyable, if it was broken, okay, we have an issue, right? When 2024 comes out, and I'm expecting it, a handful of aircrafts, a handful of sceneries will not be functional within 2024. There is going to be an insane amount of people who are yelling and screaming at developers. Well, they pushed out that piece of software for 2020, not 2024. So if it works in 2024, which we all hope, great. If it doesn't, they don't technically need to support it, right? It would be a slap in the face if we have to buy again or upgrade, right? But at the same time, they do have to put money into it. And again, this is not most of their primary income. And this kind of thing happens in X-Plane, apparently. And people get a bit mad on that. And I understand as a consumer where it comes from. I already have a plane, I already have a scenery, why do I have to pay more money for the next version? Well, this practice has been going on in every other industry. Just as life, just how it works out. That's just life. So I think as simmers, as flight simmers, we need to understand that not everything's for free. What we've gotten with Microsoft Flight Sim has been amazing because it's changed the financial approach at some of these add-ons, and a major amount of that. that. And in terms of pricing, think about the on X-Plane. There's a ridiculous amount of add-ons for X-Plane, and the planes on X-Plane are pretty much all the planes on X-Plane are like the PMDG pricing, crazy high, expensive pricing. But with Microsoft Flight Sim, you can get a really good plane for $15-20. That's crazy. You can get a good scenery for $5. There are hundreds of free thousands of free sceneries on FlightSim.to. Alright, so that's my soapbox. We need to be grateful for what we have. And, you know, now when a developer pushes out, how do you say, a developer says something's going to happen and doesn't achieve that goal, and you bought into it, now we have a problem. Now we have a problem. But if they push out a piece of software and it's stable, a few little bugs here and there, but it's stable, nothing to complain about. Nothing to complain about. Obviously, yeah, you know, you can grade, review whatever comes out the way it comes out, because that's fair, right? You're buying something, you want to let people know it's great this, but, or it's great this, there's no issues, it's fantastic. That's great. Nothing's perfect. And the goal is to try to make things as best as you possibly can. If not, then you're just grabbing money. And that's what I feel Captain Sim, their stuff is. And most of their stuff is just a money grab. But at the same time, it does target an audience. Low price stuff, low quality stuff. You want a 717? Well, there you go. It's not a great 717. It's a 717. If you can classify that. It's taking someone else's panel, maybe their own panel, and what was that plane that came out not that long ago that it had like an Airbus panel, but it was a Boeing plane, I think? I can't remember. That stuff's wrong. Freeware, different story. If it's a freeware and that's what they do, well, you know, it's free. You can't bitch you complain about that kind of stuff. On paid stuff, I expect the panel of the aircraft on the inside should be, I don't know, close to what it is in real life. Alright, so we're at cruising altitude, flight level 360. As of right now, I'm expecting runway 6 into Birmingham.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached our cruising altitude. For your continued safety, American Airlines requires that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. Our drinks and snack service will be coming around shortly, and we will also have items from the American Airlines shop available for purchase. Thank you for your attention, and enjoy your flight.
Alright, on to cool news. After I get my arrival stuff inputted here, is Sayintentions updates. The team over at Sayintentions has been doing a tremendous amount of work. Tremendous. And some things, Brian himself, the lead developer, said that he would never put into Sayintentions because he doesn't believe it's necessary. Well, he's added a couple things. And that's what's cool about Brian and the team at Sayintentions, is they're willing to listen. Whatever the consumers feel is best, you bring a valid point, they will listen. Very open, very transparent. And it's one of the main things that got me excited about the team. I've said this before. Their openness with their software. It's what's going to make the software amazing. So they've one thing that has been talked about in the past is enforcements. So when you say something, sometimes behind the skies, hello. When you say something, does Sayintentions actually listen to what you say, and is it going to comply with what you say? Okay. Yes. The answer is yes. It does listen to what you say. It doesn't always enforce what you say. I should say in past tense. It didn't always enforce what you say. Because AI in ATC is very, very new. And AI in general, the way we are using it today, is very, very new. So there are limitations to all that. Very, very major limitations with it. It's early usage of this stuff. And as the software progresses, as the language learning machines change and get better, new features are going to be able to be more capable of achieving. And enforcements have been a question mark on over at Sayintentions. Do we want to add it, or will adding it cause more headaches to the pilots? Right? Because it's not understanding what you're saying because of an accent, because of the speed you're talking, because of the quality of your mic, because of limitations of the software, right? There's so many issues that could arise within adding enforcements. But Brian went ahead and he switched on that switch, and now within Sayintentions in the settings you can enable enforcements, a little checkbox. So, and Brian's very clear to say that if you are going to use it, understand you do need to speak clearly, and you do need to have a high quality mic. Those are super, super, super important. And I've used it, and it works really, really well. Works really, really well. I'm not using it right now. I forget to switch the switch on. Click the little switch, I guess. But it works really, really well. Really, really well. You have to have, I believe you have to have the latest version of Sayintentions, and you have to be on the experimental server, and then you have to flip the switch. All that is super, super important. The other thing that has been added is Copilot. A Copilot within the plane. So the Copilot is limited, very limited in the capacity of what it can be used for. But it can be used to talk to tower or to the controller. So you can ask your Copilot.
American 516, Jacksonville Center. Expect the ILS runway 6 approach to Birmingham. I'll have your descent in 20 minutes.
Runway 6, runway 6. Cool. So now you can ask the Copilot to control the comms, and the Copilot will switch the frequencies, make the calls. Really, really cool. From my understanding, you have to be in the air first, and it will do those calls. And I think that's really, really cool because a lot of people have requested this feature. It's available in other ATC software, and a lot of people really want this feature just to help eliminate some of the stress you have as you're flying, right? I personally will never, ever, ever use the Copilot feature. I never will use it. I think it's a cool feature to have for those who need it, but I will never use it. The reason why I am a fan of what Sayintentions have been doing is because I can talk to AI ATC, and it understands and hears me and it will respond back to me. And it does it, in my opinion, better than anyone else out there. It's far superior than anyone else out there. So that's why I will use it. I also do like to do as much as I can as the pilot in command. I understand there's a co-pilot, and I understand real life and all that jazz. But if you watch any of my videos, any of my streams, I don't do things to real life. I don't use a checklist. I don't verify certain things. I just have fun and fly. And if I were to let the co-pilot do all the work, well, it's taking away the things I enjoy doing. So I do see where they could be used, though. I do absolutely see where they could be used. But if I was going to have that going in the background, I don't know. It just takes away things for the immersion part, personally. I understand it brings immersion to some people, but for me it takes it away. So it's a personal preference why I won't use the co-pilot feature, but I think it's really cool that it's there. I think it's really, really cool that it's there. What was the other thing that was recently?
Contact Jacksonville Center on 132.775.
American
I think it was
516,
something
contact
else.
Jacksonville Center on 127.8. Juliet Hotel, contact with Video Tower.
I can't remember right now. Over to 1278. Jacksonville Center, American 516. We're at flight level 360.
American 516, Jacksonville Center identified. Good afternoon.
So what I've been doing recently is I've been listening to real life ATC. I'm trying to understand when certain phrases are being used. And what was really cool is the other day I listened to it for about 45 minutes during the flight. And I also had Sayintentions in the background. There were definitely several times that in the audio I was listening to through live ATC that I thought they were the comms that were coming through Sayintentions. And I'm not joking. I am not joking. I'm 100%. There were definitely a couple times where I'm like, wow, okay, that was trippy. I swear that was Sayintentions. When I look over on the text box and Sayintentions, and that wasn't. It was wild. Just hearing your call sign? That's awesome. So that I thought that was really cool. It's really neat. We're getting closer and closer to that point with Sayintentions where it's starting to blur. And I have a video up on my channel called Blurring the Lines. And it's about going from real life to Sayintentions. And there's a moment there where it goes from the real life cockpit of the 737 into the sim 737. And not to toot my own horn, but I think that transition was really, really cool. But I went from live ATC chatter to Sayintentions chatter. And it's really, really cool. And that was a few months ago. That's before McCracken and the team have added more voices to Sayintentions. So that's really cool. That's really, really cool. I have nothing but praise to say about what Sayintentions have done. It's a phenomenal piece of software. It's the most highly recommended software I can even dream of asking people or telling people to use. It's really, really cool. Once you get into it, you can't get out of it. I feel the same way with when I got into APL. Once I got into APL, I couldn't let go of it. And even when I started trying to use Onair, I was so confused with it that I just went back to APL. Eventually, once I gave the time necessary to learn Onair, now I can't do a flight without Onair. I'm addicted to that. That's my career mode now. So just like Sayintentions, it's Onair, the Phoenix. I have a video up on my channel about my top 5 favorite add-ons from Microsoft Flight Sim. There's no doubt in my stream title it lists 3 of them. Alright, so we are about just under 220 nautical miles from the airport. This has been the longer flights I've done on a stream. Oh, speaking of streams, so my wonderful wife, she is going to be out of town the later part of this week, and I believe I might stream every night she is not home. In the evenings for the U.S. Central Time evening, so probably 8 p.m. Central is what I'm thinking of, which I know will be late for some people.
United 324, contact Jacksonville on 133.325. 133.3.
VOD, right? That's my VOD. Sorry, stopped it for a second. I saw it. Error message on the stream.
Macedonia Center on 126.525.
Apparently the connection's crappy right now.
Tomcat 064 Tango, Macedonia Center identified. Good afternoon.
Cathay 880 Oakland Center identified. Good
Some
morning.
technical issues. Okay, I think it's back up.
TBM walk off, Charlie, expecting ILS, runway 04.
The bit rank like tanked for a second.
One Golf
But,
Charlie, read back correct.
I think it's back. Okay. I'm just glad that controllers give us arrival information before descent now. I remember the days when it gets
TBM walk off, Charlie, have a good day.
Yeah, it's wild to think
Good day.
how much better Sayintentions has gotten in the past couple months. It really has. I can't complain about the software. Not that I really complained in the past about it, but I really can't find a major issue with it. Which is why I have it as such a high recommendation. It's my #1 favorite add-on for Flight Sim. It will likely be my #1 favorite add-on for Flight Sim 2024.
TBM 1701 Tango at 60,000 on flight level 290.
And the reason why I say #1 is because you can use it in any aircraft within Microsoft Flight Sim. Any aircraft. You don't have to have a single add-on outside of Sayintentions to enjoy it. You're an airliner. You fly the Neo. If you like GA, you fly any GA aircraft within Microsoft Flight Sim. So it doesn't. You don't need to have a whole bunch of other things to make it work. Right? Really, really cool. And the continuous updates, the initial, the additional, what's it called? Integrations with other pieces of software, different ways to use it. PDC, as an example. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. It's really cool to have, though. Really, really cool to have.
Center identified. Good afternoon.
Contact tunnel. Approach on 118.1.
So I thought about, I was thinking about doing a video of my wish list, what I'm hoping to see for Flight Sim 2024. And then I haven't decided if I want to do one yet. Because I feel it's going to be the same as what so many other people have done.
American 256, Chicago Center. Expect the ILS runway 13 approach into Des Moines. Descent will be in 20 minutes. Let me know if you want to descend sooner.
Like my #1 thing I really, really hope for within 2024, #1 thing, and this is probably going to be a spoiler if I actually end doing the video, would be
American 256, Chicago Center on 126.275.
what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Shoot. Multi-core? I don't know if that's the right word though. Not right, multi-core? Maybe it is right. Ever have those moments where you're like, I don't know if that's spelled right? I don't even know if that's a real word. That's what I'm having right now. So anyways, it takes advantage of more than just core 1 and 2 of CPU. That's my #1 hope. Because if they can get that working, just imagine how much smoother and consistent the sim will be from the ground to the air. And I feel it's really, really necessary to get working with some of the things they're adding on into 2024. Speaking of smoothness, so I finally remembered and decided to do my BIOS update. And I think it was Fry that was mentioning, or asking me about it in one of the last streams. And I put it off for so long because I hadn't really had any issues. But as I sat and thought about it, in theory the BIOS update will hopefully prevent any issues actually occurring, regardless if I had experienced them at the time or not. So I went ahead and I downloaded and updated the BIOS for my MSI motherboard. And of course it resets all your settings, which wasn't as big of a deal because my fan curve I used to use custom when I had an air cooler, and now that it's IAO, I use software for that.
Proceed on course to Perry.
But my V-core was at about 1.25 prior to the BIOS update. And the only things I actually, thank you season updating, the only thing I did in there was I adjusted the cores maxes, and that's it. And so when I did the BIOS update, restart the PC, I didn't change anything in the BIOS other than enable XPM2. I noticed the V-core was spiking up to almost 1.5. I think it actually went over 1.5. And then I also noticed the temp. And I hadn't done anything at the point. I just booted Windows, and the temp spiked up to about 78 degrees. Prior to the BIOS update, I would rarely ever spike to 74 in game. Okay, so I was like, well, I should probably look into that. I got into the BIOS menu, I was looking at my settings, I was like, okay, maybe I'll go back to the cores I had before, the max multipliers I had before. So I put all that jazz in there, rebooted, and voila. But it was back to normal again. But the V-core was now down to 1.2, I think it was. I was like, oh wow, that's super low. That is scary low. Like, how's that enough power to get this thing going? Okay, so let me fiddle around with some things. So I adjusted the ring ratio and put that up a couple of notches. Reboot it, and things are better now, but I feel the V-core is still a little higher than what I like. And the temps also do spike a little bit here as well. Not like they were prior to me messing with this stuff, but so the V-core now is reaching up to 1.43, I think it is. And the temps can get up to 70, I think it was 78 yesterday. I think I have to do a little bit of twiddling and tweaking with that kind of stuff. Figure it out. It's all still within the safe zone, but I'm not quite sure why on default. I also did mess with the load line and adjusted that. And I have that set at 4 now. I might try to lower that down a little bit more, because I think I was able to hit load 1 before, and everything was very stable. Yeah, the chatter over that, and it happens sometimes, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's...
Southwest 4064, Jacksonville Center, good evening.
I don't know if it's grabbing live chatter and then mixing in the historical chatter. It's really weird though. Yeah, I do notice that sometimes. Right there.
Why are you unable to accept the transition?
I would turn off the global historical stuff, but I like to hear the different accents. I really like that. And I primarily fly in the US, because I'm a big idiot and I don't know how to say and pronounce words correctly from some of the airports. Oh, someone just dropped off. I wonder if I don't know if flight's in. Oh no, okay, they're good. Okay, never mind. Yeah, she just connected. Look how beautiful this is. I've said this before, but like, this is a gorgeous looking sim. I don't know how they're going to make it look better in 2024. This is just gorgeous.
Jacksonville Center, Archer 315 last year, 3500, heading 120.
I just noticed the Lambda thing's all goofed up again.
Cessna 26 Delta, contact Ohio State Tower on 118.8.
That broke. There you go. Okay, all fixed. What does that?
American 458, contact Jacksonville Center on
Alright, so we should get there descent
135.325.
very soon there.
12 contact 325, American 5.
Top descent arrow is coming on up. And they said 20 minutes. I didn't really check the timestamp on that, but I assume it should be the next 2 minutes. We're going to see how accurate.
American 516, Jacksonville Center, descend and maintain flight level 270.
Just like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have begun
Descend and maintain flight level 270, American 516.
belt sign, and we kindly ask that you return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. Our cabin crew will be making one final round to collect any remaining trash and prepare for our arrival. Please pass any items you no longer need to the flight attendants. Thank you.
Alright, so now we're going to see how these vectors work. That'd be interesting. Because, I have an add-on for this airport. Same time I think I do, I don't know.
Good afternoon.
I've never landed here, but I think I've taken off from here. I don't have a, when I put in this flight into SimBrief, I didn't have it as a arrival. I didn't check departure, but I swear I've departed from it before.
American 516, descend and maintain flight level 180.
Down to flight level 180, American 516. Alright, so 180.
American 516, send flight level 180.
I don't know, just ignore that one. Not sure what I was trying to say, did something. Okay, like I said, anyways, so my plan is starting Wednesday night, U.S. Central Time, probably 8 p.m. Central. Knock out a stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday, and then we'll kind of see about Sunday. Sunday might be a different time, or it might be same time. We'll kind of see how things play out.
Please expedite your climb. Flight level 360.
I'm also trying to figure out what kind of new content I want to make for the channel. I feel the ones I've been putting up in terms of just departures and arrivals with Sayintentions, I think they're neat, but I also think it's become stale. I'm trying to think of another way I can do things. I have a couple ideas I'm thinking of. Okay, over to 125, 125, 575. Atlanta Center, hello from American 516. We're just passing flight level 338, descending 180.
American 516, Atlanta Center identified. Good afternoon.
I'm telling you, like, the complaint about delay within response within Sayintentions, it should be non-existent. That conversation should not happen. What Beyond ATC has, what FS HUD has, and the videos I've seen is too fast. It's too fast. If you listen to live ATC, some of them, yes. Sometimes the calls are fairly quick. The majority of them, there's at least a second or two delay in between that. Depending on what ATC you're talking to.
426. When you're ready, begin your descent and maintain flight level 11.
I just thought, like, if I jump into another plane and do Sayintentions, it doesn't have PDC, I gotta ask my parents again. It's been a while since I've had to do that.
Advise if you want to descend sooner.
Thunder 215, Roger, send to flight level 110 when ready.
Alright, just passing 100 nautical miles. Runway 6, so we should get a vector to
American
the west
297 negative on that.
at some point.
Let's keep it at 4,000 for now. I'd like you to turn left to a heading of 265, please.
United 2155, Atlanta Center. Good afternoon.
Atlanta Center, Eastern 1940 with you at 450.
Eastern 1940, Atlanta Center. Good afternoon.
So for those who use MobiFlight, I was using MobiFlight with what's it called, FCI EU or something like that, whatever that other piece of software is called. I was using it with that to auto launch it, and then auto stop it. But I realized I didn't need that other piece of software for anything else. The only thing I used it for was Pilot's Life, but I don't feel I'll be using Pilot's Life for a while yet because of Onair. So I found a way to get MobiFlight to start, auto start, and it's by using the Flight Sim executable file launcher, the what's it called, XML. So the same thing that FS Realistic and Synaptic use, I use that also. So I put in MobiFlight to start up. The only issue with it is I can't find a way to get MobiFlight to auto stop once I exit out of Flight Sim. I have to manually do that, which isn't a big deal. By any means, it's not a big deal. But I'd like to find a way to do that. But I'm not like really focused on doing that by any means. I also thought about maybe formatting my PC this past weekend because I had a couple days off for Labor Day. Because I am going to do it before the launch of 2024. I'm like, well, it's still like over 2 months away. Maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait.
Alaska 1318, contact Seattle Center on 127.55.
Well, it's still in the back of my head to do it, so I haven't completely ruled it out yet.
Frenchline 837 Delta, request 3,000 feet, please.
I haven't completely ruled it out yet. Right, so getting closer. 80 nautical miles now.
3,000 feet, Frenchline 837 Delta, thank you.
We don't have an approach chart for this airport, but the outer markers about flight, the outer markers about 2,200.
American 297, 4 miles from Carnegie. Turn left heading 220. Descend and maintain 3,000 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 15 approach.
I have a feeling that Sayintentions is going to direct us over to the Vulcan VOR.
Please expedite your climb. Flight level 360.
Lot 4981, cleared for the ILS runway 26 right approach into Munich. NAPS 1 Bravo arrival. Whenever you'd like to send and maintain flight level 100.
Buffalo 2. Ah, yeah, I'm not quite sure what it's going to do. Very curious how this vector is going to work.
French line 837, Delta. Contact Bordeaux. Control on 127.675.
Lot 4981. Contact Vienna radar on 132.765.
I mentioned something else on the stream and I completely forgot what it was. Oh yeah, so I don't know if anyone here is just watch Adam Sandler stuff, right? He used to be really big in the 90s with comedy stuff. He's done a couple of serious stuff recently, changing his acting career, I think. There's a movie that came out a few years back called I think it's called Uncut Gems. It's with Adam Sandler. It's well done, freaking phenomenal, and he plays a very serious role in there. But he did a phenomenal job. I didn't know he had that skill to be that kind of an actor. But he definitely does. Very similar to what Robin Williams, Jim Carrey, Tom Hanks. You know, these guys have all, when they entered into doing movies, they were known to do comedy, and then they eventually got into more serious roles. Descend and maintain 10,000, 10,000 American 516. I notice a lot of people say 10,000 and they'll also repeat it in yet other form. I'm gonna start doing that as well, if I remember. But anyways, he had a stand-up that came up on Netflix recently. I think it's called Adam Sandler Loves You or Love You, something like that. It was well done. It was very well done. I'm not a fan of Sandler. I'm not like, I've watched his stuff, but I'm not like, I never was a big fan of his movies. Happy Gilmore and Waterboy. Like, I watched them, but I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it again. I never desired to watch them again. I can't think of the last Adam Sandler comedy movie I've watched. 50 First Dates, I remember that. Like, that was probably one of my favorite ones of his, honestly. That was a well done movie. But I've never been a fan of his stuff. Like, they're good, but I'm not gonna go watch it again. But this stand-up was really, really good. It really surprised me. Very much surprised me. But he had a song at the end. And it's a really good song. It's a really good song. It's about what's there to help you when you're struggling in life. And then it's also a call to all the comedians in the past that he idolized growing up and throughout his life. And it's really well done. It is extremely well done. Yeah, the music comedy, yeah. Like, his music comedy is pretty good. And I've always known he's been known for that, like, going back to the Saturday Night Live days. But yeah, he's really good. Like, that stand-up was phenomenal. Really, really good. So I do highly recommend it. Like I said, it's on Netflix. I think it was called Loves You. Love You or Loves You, something like that. Really, really good. But it hit me a couple times because I've dealt with some major health issues over the past 4 years, and there's a couple of moments in there where it talks about how do you overcome struggles. One of the lines in there is something about when you were at a doctor's office and you hear bad news, what's there for you. And the song is pretty much all about, you know, comedy, how forget about your struggles in life and have fun and laugh, right? And my sense of humor going through my health struggles has been dark humor. There's no doubt. And my wife, at times, she's okay with it, but most times she's not. But I find relief in dark humor. That's what gotten me through these hard moments these past 4 years. 2 major surgeries, 2 big diagnosis things, and they've helped me overcome the challenges at work and through life, through some depression. The comedy's been good for me. Comedy's been very good for me, and that song really hit me hard in a couple moments there. That it's helped me realize how I have overcome some of the issues in my life. So if you do have any kind of issues with life, I think it's a great song to listen to. Really good song.
Contact SoCal approach on 124.5.
All right, 41 nautical miles from the airport, so we shall get a vector momentarily. Then ready to cross Wands, 10 nautical miles out. And of course, the song had a mention of Chris Farley, who was, growing up, Farley was like the king of the comedy for me. I love Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live. I love watching his movies, a few that did come out. And so I watched Tommy Boy on Sunday night, I think it was. It was Saturday night. I can't remember one of the nights. I watched Tommy Boy again, and it's sad to see we lose someone with that kind of a skill set to narcotics and alcohol, right? It's very sad. And it's just like Rob Williams, we lost him to depression. He was going through his own issues, and he had his own medical problems going on. And it's some people put on that shell. You think they're okay, but they're not. There's our vector. Descend and maintain 5,000, left heading 275, American 516. Alright, 275. And 5,000. Alright, so let's see how this all works out. Okay, so let's see here. Sempo? Even my damn chart. It must be this one. Okay. Then we want to be at 2,700. I'm just going to keep an eye on the altitude here. Let's go up. We don't need to drop so fast. Okay. But another thing about watching Tommy Boy again is, as much as I like Chris Farley, there are definitely moments in that movie where he had shown his ability to act serious. I just wonder if he were to have lived longer and if he would have gotten the opportunity to do some serious roles, how he actually would have performed it. Because I know he wanted to, based on some of the interviews I've watched and documentaries I've watched of him. It sounded like he really wanted to get into that and get out of the fat shaming, get out of the big funny guy kind of role that he was known to be, and do something that he feels would be better for him. And so I wonder, could he have become Tom Hanks, completely transformed from comedy roles into very serious, very, very serious roles?
American 516, contact Birmingham approach on 123.8.
Send 5,000, turn left heading 265, vectors ILS 25 in your leg.
Alright, 1, 2, 3, and an 8. Birmingham approach, American 516, just passing 10,000, descending down to 5,000.
American 516, Birmingham approach identified. Good afternoon. Wilsonville altimeter 30.09er.
Alright, so,
Ladies and gentlemen, we've begun our final approach to Birmingham. Please turn off all portable electronic devices and
I would
stow them
assume our
until we
next
have arrived
vector
at
will
the
definitely be to the
In
right,
preparation
but
for landing in
maybe
Birmingham,
within
certain
10
your
nautical miles.
seat back is straight up and your seatbelt is fastened. Please secure your carry-on items, stow your tray table, and pass any remaining
Helicopter
service items
744,
and
continue straight in for runway
unwanted
6.
materials to the flight attendants.
Continue straight in, runway 6, helicopter 744.
Helicopter 744, contact Birmingham Tower on 119er.9er.
Birmingham approach helicopter 90744. We'd like to enter the cross Charlie and land at
I feel like the helicopter is speedy.
American 516, Birmingham approach. Proceed direct SEPO. Descend and maintain 2500 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 6 approach.
Direct to Seppo, descend and maintain 2,500 until established. American 516. Alright, so Seppo is next, down to 25.
American 516, direct to SEPO. Maintain 2500 until established. Cleared for the ILS runway 6 approach.
Alright, so now we're just going to maintain our speed, keep an eye on that tightly. And this has been a fantastic, another great and fantastic vectors by Sayintentions.
Lufthansa 215, Frankfurt approach, proceed direct TF 480. Descend and maintain flight level
I do personally feel that some of the issues that I've read about within Sayintentions that people have is user errors when it comes to being vectored. Now, not all of them, but some of them. I do know from experience that sometimes it loses you. Now that happens, right? Same thing happens with Beyond ATC. But with Sayintentions, I feel some of them can be user errors.
Identified. Good afternoon.
And people get so mad about it too. It's like, this stupid thing is being stupid, and it's yelling at the comms. It's like, dude, it's beta, it's early access. Like, you're gonna have issues, right? Jet is early access. You're gonna have issues with it. Deal with it. If you don't like it, disconnect. If you don't like that, if you don't want to disconnect, just stay on. Just do your own thing. Like, just have fun. Just have fun. The world is so much full. The world is so full of complaining and hatred. Just have a good time. Just enjoy it. You know. Just enjoy it. Some people like to go out in the world and go camping and see the outdoors and hike and all that jazz. Some people like to play board games and be with family and friends. And some people like to just sit and fly a pretend airplane. That's me. I got a 3-day holiday here from work, and you know what? I've spent the first 2 days flying airplanes. I haven't stepped outside in over 48 hours. And you know what? I probably won't today either. I enjoy flying airplanes. I had a fan in the window blowing in some nice cool air. Temperature has dropped. That's my fresh air. That's my outdoor experience. I do need to get my ass out and start walking though on my days off from work. That's gonna be my mission in the fall. So I'm not completely lazy. Love the breakout here through the clouds. It's so cool. Alright, speed's coming down now. All looking grand. Alright, let's go on down here and start for that. Arm the spoilers. Let's blanket down there. Oh, the comms, there was just probably chatter on the cabin crew back there for the Airbus. Alright, speed's looking decent. I'm hoping it drops a little more though. And then we should get handed over to tower momentarily. looking good. We can bring down our first notch of flaps. And we're going to arm the localizer. And we're going to get the ILS armed as well. I wonder why sometimes... I wonder why it doesn't show distance.
We're with you at 10,000.
Is that a flaw in the plane, or is that because of the type of ILS?
Delta 5128, good evening.
Never understood
Delta
that.
880, 6 miles from Honda. Turn right heading 165.
Arm our glide slope.
Maintain
It's a Cat 3 approach.
until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 25 left approach.
Alright, glide slope armed, localizer armed. There's the runway. Alright, flaps coming down. Speed's coming up. Bring out the speed brakes again.
Neo 043, veuillez accélérer votre descente à 6000.
And we're about 6 nautical miles out at this point.
American 516, contact Birmingham Tower on 119.9er.
119er and, oops, 9er. Birmingham Tower, hello from American 516. We are on the ILS 6. Alright, gear coming down.
American 516, Birmingham Tower, roger. Wind 090 at 12, runway 6, cleared to land.
Flaps 3, runway 6, cleared to land, American 516. And flaps 4, speed brakes stowed. And armed again. And some rough FPS here. Alright, all looking grand. And let's go to manual mode. AP off. Clear my errors and my aircraft. Oh, a little low, so bring up the nose a little bit. That's a bit of mode. Looking good. Check to see what the hell I'm turning on this on landing. Runway 46, exit right. We'll get on course here. Alright, a little high now. Oh, big old stutter.
Papa Romeo Alpha, contact departure on 119.7.
Back on the path.
500.
I guess I don't have an add-on here. That doesn't look like an add-on.
Tower.
It's like default. Oh, I had not on.
Frankfurt Tower, pass your message.
It was a free one.
Lufthansa 215 with you on the approach.
A little high.
Flight level. Correction. ILS 25, right.
Lufthansa 215, roger.
Right, just looking at the pappies now. No longer looking at my instruments. Good.
Lufthansa 215, wind speed 555. Runway 25 right,
call.
clear to land.
Light slow.
Lufthansa 215, clear to land.
40. 30. 20.
Cessna November 421, Alpha Whiskey, Birmingham Tower, runway tree. 6, line up and wait.
Landing time logged.
Jeez, huge stutter here on landing.
American 516, contact ground on 121.7.
Cursors out.
Ladies and gentlemen, American Airlines welcomes you to Birmingham. The local time is 11:32 a.m. For your safety and the safety of those around you,
Cursors
please remain
down.
seated with your seatbelt
And
fastened.
over
Aisle
to
clear until we are
ground.
parked at the gate. The captain will then turn off the fasten
Flaps coming
seatbelt
up,
sign,
landing lights
indicating
off.
it is safe to stand. Please use caution when
And
opening
over to
the
ground.
overhead compartments and
Birmingham ground. Hello from American 516. We are on taxiway Alpha 5. Back to taxi to an available gate.
And is often referred
Alright,
to
let's
as
see where they
the
give us.
Magic City because of its
Maybe this is an
rapid
add-on.
growth in the late 19th century. The weather here is a warm
American 516, Birmingham ground, taxi to A8 via Alpha 5 Alpha. Have a good day.
Thank you for flying with American Airlines,
Going to
and we
Alpha
hope you enjoy your stay.
On the corner. Taxi to Alpha 8 via Alpha 5, Alpha, American 516. Alpha 8, Alpha 8. Yeah, Alpha 8. Oh, so expect me to exit later. That's fine. Alright. Step that way, put this to normal, back that. And 8 is one of these guys there. You have to guess, I believe. Oh, right on the corner. This might be Alpha 8. That's Foxtrot. I don't know where 8 is. Are we down at the end? Way off course what they were saying me to do for me to do, but I just want to get a good tackle of 8 here. I think 8's this one. Like 7. I guess it would have been better coming in the other way, huh? And there's 8. Alpha 8. Landing lights are off. And our brakes are set. Over to the tablet, GPU
Cafe
charts.
880, progressive taxi approved. Follow the taxi path to Tom Bradley International Terminal via Yankee. Cross runway 06 right, then Delta.
And
have a great day.
Engine 1, 2 off.
The flight is finished. It has been monitored by Onair.
Alright, we're gonna rate this flight. Beautiful, perfect flight, because it was perfect. And we'll bring on over. On over Onair. Alright, so let's see. What am I doing?
Lufthansa
Up here.
215, taxi to A1.
I'm gonna see how I did. The landing was like a 2 something.
The flight is finished. It has been monitored by Onair.
It's been monitored by Onair. Alright, 281 on the landing, not great, but the G's were 102, which is great. Landing speed 177. Or sorry, 117, 177, geez. All great, all pretty good. I got docked on the landing, it was yellow. Then the stupid, if the engine's off when you start it up. My stupid fault. The approach, why was there approach? What's the approach issue? Taxi lights. Am I not supposed to have the taxi lights on when I come in for a landing? Guess so. I guess I'll have to change that up a little bit. Alright, but that was some good money. It's what, 63K or something like that? I'm kind of losing money recently because like I said, I've been getting into the actual airline part of it. The crew airline stuff. So you can see I'm down substantially amount. especially this week because the weekly cost of the stand plane is expensive. But I did a flight that brought in like a fourth of that for the VA, I think it was. Yeah, because I'm not seeing it here anywhere. So if I can just find like a couple of those flights, I'll be all right. But again, this one brought in, what did this bring in? This one brought in 34. And cargo, yeah, 60. 64. This flight brought in 64K, so that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Losing money though, losing money. Alright, well, I do appreciate everyone that's watched the stream. Anyone that's watched on the VOD, I do definitely appreciate that as well. And as I said earlier, if you were here, I do plan on streaming starting Wednesday evening US, about 8 Central Time. Once I get that confirmed, I'll schedule it up on the channel. And we'll see how it goes from there. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure. Take care.